Hi, I'm Dave Barnes.
And I'm John McLaughlin.
And welcome to Dadville.
Dadville is a podcast where we talk about life, love, and the pursuit of awesome dadding.
It's funny thoughts and deep talks.
So please, enjoy your time here in Dadville and enjoy this episode with Matt Wertz.
Oh,
guys.
We're here.
Hey,
Here we are.
It's working.
I'm going to put my phone in airplane mode.
Thank you
that's
for
a good
that.
idea.
Thank you for that.
I like how our guest is making us think about that for the
as
first time.
you're looking at
ever.
us going,
Guys, any
I'm
other...
gonna put
This is what
mine.
I'm going to do. I don't know what
And
you guys
y'all
want to do, but...
should follow.
Guys, can we take a moment and just take in this moment?
I know.
This
Look
is a
at
big
this.
moment.
It's
It
a
is
big moment.
We have, Matt, I'm going to say this. Me and John on this side of things.
Yes.
Like right at the Dadville
Line. Dadville
county
County
line.
Yep.
Yeah.
We have sat perched at the line with
my head on Dave's shoulder.
Yep. Sharing one
hours.
a monocle. We've shared
One
though
ocular.
Though
Is that
it's binoculars.
Binoculars.
Though it's binoculars, we each have one eye
Yeah.
in the
Yeah. It's binoculars or it's binoculars? It's binocular. It's really
How was
binocular
How
situation.
was your visit to the eye doctor?
It was it's
binocular.
binocular. How's your experience with the optometrist? It's binocular.
It's binocular, dude. It's been pretty
Every
ocular.
time.
So we've sat here and we've just waited, and never peer pressure.
No,
There's
I
been
haven't.
zero
I haven't
peer
felt
pressure.
it.
But we've just been excited.
Oh, you're saying for me to
Yeah.
be here?
Yes.
Okay.
But wait, we're
You
just
didn't
waiting.
finish that
like
sentence.
the prodigal son. We staring at the horizon.
You've been waiting for probably 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
Some would say longer,
That's
and
a
some would
long-
say shorter.
Yeah, that's you guys.
I mean,
you
5
guys'
years ago, I was
restraint-
like, Dave, we're going to have to just start the podcast in like a Field of Dreams situation. Let's just start the podcast.
This could bring him.
Then Wertz
if you
will
build it.
come.
Which
Yeah.
I kind of like that we're sort of taking credit a little bit when you say it that way.
Oh, 100% we
I
are.
actually wanted to. That was one of the first things I wanted to tell you guys is that thank you.
Yeah.
For being a part.
Because if it weren't for y'all,
Yes.
I don't know that I would be
Here we go. Here we
saying that I'm going to be a dad soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And,
look, you just did it. Now it is.
It's
It's out.
Phones are ringing.
It's
the
out.
internet is shut down in parts of Indiana.
Yep.
Yep.
It is.
Yep.
So,
Glad we put our phones in airplane mode.
because oh my God, look, it just looks. It's just.
Yeah.
So this is big. This is big. Have we ever broken news on Dadville? Have we ever used this as
we did have breaking news one time
Okay, who was
recently.
that? Okay.
Bobby Moynihan, who we had on,
There-
he broke the news. Our producer, Jason, said,
Drunk uncle himself.
I'm pretty sure that Bobby Moynihan broke the news that he's having a second child
Yeah.
on Dad.
But
Well,
not a first.
Hey, well,
Not a
okay,
first.
so this is probably going to need to be edited out unless this becomes funny.
Okay.
Can that be the title of the episode?
This, I realized that if I'm going to have Annie in any of the promo for Home Buddy, I'm going to have to announce that we're pregnant before
You're pregnant. Wait, no.
before this comes out.
Oh, yeah.
That's okay. Let's just keep it going
Okay.
because our crowd,
They don't know.
they could be.
Yeah.
Who knows where they
I'll
are?
say this. I think that the timing of this is still. I thought you were about to play like
No,
a
that
little banjo riff.
Did you hear that?
I could
Oh my
hear that.
gosh.
I
It
could
was,
hear
yeah,
that,
it was
yeah.
resonating.
This is definitely going to be. There's only so much you can say on Instagram, and I still. I think that there's a lot that I want to talk about. You know what I mean? I've got a lot of questions kind of bouncing around in my head, and it's crazy. I don't even really know how to. I've kind of like held back from trying to even imagine what life is going to be like or what it's going to be like to be a dad, because I'm just like, it feels like saying, hey, in October, you are going to be given a new, like you will not have a body anymore. What you're going to have is it's like a light beam. You won't really understand what it. You also won't be on this planet. It'll be like it'll be
Another
there'll be
place.
certain things that are similar, but
Uh-huh.
I just don't. it seems like it might be like I might just wait until it happens and then just be there in that moment and say like, this is what's happening.
Yeah.
Right.
Because it just feels too big to even really like.
So are you saying all this because you have been given a lot of advice already?
Well, yes, and because I can't even imagine.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine what it's going to be like.
You nailed it. Nailed that.
There's no way to.
No way to know.
Yeah.
Let's do this though, because there's a bunch of people out here going, well, hold on. How is Matt doing?
I thought Matt was gay.
No. No. They are going, okay, that's huge news, but let's make like ketchup.
Yeah, we need to check in
let's
first.
Make like Heinz and ketchup.
Let's get to that, though.
Okay, great.
Because we've got questions for you.
Great.
You've come in with questions for us.
Yeah.
So let me start here. This is a really fun first for Dadville because we've never had
soon to be dad.
Yeah.
A child in utero.
A dad in utero.
A dad, yep.
Utero. Is that the name of our band now?
Dadero. Dadero. I don't know. We'll workshop
I like
it.
Utero better.
Yeah.
Utero. Utero. So I mean, everybody knows we've got Matt Wertz here with us today.
Hey guys,
we just skipped all that.
Yep.
We jumped all that.
Yeah.
Artist, singer, songwriter.
We're gonna edit that for
a long-awaited guest.
A long-awaited guest.
People have been waiting 20 years.
Just give us what is going on with the M-dubs these days. Like, give us the check-in.
Okay.
What is happening in your world?
So I got married for the first time 2.5 years ago.
I love how you say that.
I like to say for the first time because I think people might assume, you're 40,
you're
44.
Yeah. No, I think
maybe you could be on your third marriage.
Yeah.
Fourth marriage.
Yep.
I'm on my first marriage. It's only 2.5 years. I like that move.
Yeah.
We've been married for 2.5 years, and we are both kind of like of the age where like we like deciding to have children was like not emotional. It was like the most. So, so it was the most like, okay, let's back this out. Like we know that we want to have a family, and my wife is. I mean, it's horrible that they call if you're having a baby like over like 34, they're like. Say
they say
or
high risk or something like that.
Yeah. So we were just like, and she's. I'm not gonna say how old she is. She's 77 years old.
She looks amazing.
She looks
really
good.
does.
She looks great. But we kind of needed to like get going.
Yeah.
So we kind of tried for a year and unsuccessfully. So we kind of like needed to get a little help from the old science, and thankfully that didn't take too long. Thankfully, because I think Annie was like, "Yeah, I don't really want to." That was horrible.
Yeah,
and we just did like the basic like entry level thing, but it still was like no fun. So on Valentine's Day, we took a pregnancy test the day before Valentine's Day this year, 2023, negative. It was a bummer. It was second round of not IUD.
IVF.
Yeah. No, IVF is not. IVF's like the more involved thing. IUI. IUI.
Isn't that a college?
It is Illinois University. Yeah. So second round of that, and so we were bummed, and then we were gonna have to, she's gonna have to be on these weird drugs again, and anyway,
it's so rough on her.
Yes.
Not that it's not rough on you, but physically, it's nothing for you.
It's very disorienting. Like she didn't feel like herself, and and I mean, I think that's like, as a husband, I've felt this way more, where you're just like, I don't know, I can't. You're feeling however you're feeling, and I can't do anything about it, and that's such a helpless, kind of scary feeling in general. Whether it's like in the pregnancy process or otherwise,
Right.
But it's kind of like more present when there's hormone drugs involved and emotions and her own fears about, like, I think as a woman, I mean, I'm obviously speaking from just observationally, but it seems like it's like such a huge part of like a woman's identity and like and probably so much fear around like, am I going to be able to do this thing that like I was made, like my body was made for?
Right. Yeah.
Or was my body not made? Like, is there something faulty with me?
Right.
You know? And it's like a big deal.
Yeah.
So,
which from the outside looking in, I always feel like, and I should say, I mean, Amy and I, thankfully, we just didn't have much trouble.
Great.
But
Good
from
for
the
you,
outside
man.
looking in, I'm like, when people are struggling and they have that sort of like shame or whatever, like guy or girl,
Yep.
you know, it's easy from the outside to be like, you shouldn't feel any of that.
No.
I mean, who knows what the reasoning is, and even if it comes down to like, oh, it is you that there's something going on in there.
Yeah.
It's easy to say from the outside that shame should not be a part of it, but probably on the inside, when you're going through, it's like hard for it not to be.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. The fun thing was I was coming back from the gym. She texted me like, "Are you
We get it. You work out.
Are you coming every day, man?"
I know.
It's somehow
I get your pictures.
Yeah. So she's like, "Hey, are you coming home soon?" I'm like, "Yeah," which she never does. But I was like, "All right, whatever." I trust.
We get
I
it.
trust
You
my
work
wife
out for a long
totally.
time.
So I'm like, I know that there's not. Yeah, I've been gone for 3 hours.
This was your third day.
Yep. And I get home and it's Valentine's Day, and she's got a present for me. And we'd already said like we're not doing presents for Valentine's Day. That was her idea, not mine. I'm not cruel.
Yeah.
But then she has something for me.
I think she might have meant another thing when she said that to you, but go
Okay.
ahead.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We'll talk about that later.
Great.
After the podcast.
That's
we'll
code
fill you in
for
on that.
no naked times.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just
no
so you know.
presents.
Yeah.
Hey, keep that in the
Get
box.
ready for no naked times.
Yeah. So she gives me a little thing that's wrapped. I was like, "Is this like a pen? Like a writing pen or something?"
Oh, yeah.
And I open it, and it's a positive pregnancy test, and I'm like, And we had a miscarriage back the year before in July. I mean, we were very early in the process, but it was still like devastating.
Mm-hmm.
And again, kind of like fuels that fear, I think,
Yeah.
for her of like, can I do this? Is my
Yeah.
body built for this? So all I'd say, it was like very exciting. And I think too, I was like a bit guarded because I'm like, the last time this happened, it didn't.
Yeah.
So I think I was kind of like a little more like, I mean, certainly that day I was like jacked, but I think I was like, okay,
Let's
I'm
not
going
get your.
to, I'm
I was
gonna
gonna say,
hopes up
like,
too high.
yeah, I think I pulled back a little bit. But you asked me kind of in general what's been going on. Is that so? Zooming out or whatever. I'm putting out music for the first time since 2016.
Come on.
So
We have been waiting.
So this, thank you. It's it's like it's weird that it's been 7 years since I put something out.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, what did I do? Like how is that possible?
Well, you were working out.
and I was and I had a woman to
You
woo.
were falling in love?
I
You
had
were-
a woman.
you were
in love.
wooing a woman, man.
I was wooing a woman. And yeah, so and I also was kind of like, yeah. I mean, there's a lot to unpack there about why it took me so long, which I won't belabor here, but like I've been like in full on like put out a new song every 6 weeks mode.
Yeah.
And I just had one come out called Homebody. And it's the fun thing about the song is I wrote it, the chorus says, "She's got me feeling like a homebody. Maybe soon I'll get a dad body. Because there ain't anybody else I'd rather settle down with. Nobody." And that was before I wrote the song like long before we were pregnant, but it was just kind of like a little foreshadowing to like what we were hoping for. Like starting a family, and I mean I don't want to have a dad body, but I can't promise that it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
You
You don't right now. But let me
Thanks.
tell you,
Yeah.
one of the best pieces of advice I got from my doctor when we started having kids was he said, "Let me tell you what's going to kill you." And he's like, "When you come in and I have to reprimand you, it's going to be because of this. It's going to be because you finish your kids' meals."
Ooh.
And that is real.
Ooh.
Because you don't set out to do that.
No.
But, you order pizza or you get burgers somewhere or, Annie
Dude.
makes a great
And
meal or
there's-
y'all make a great meal.
There is something divine, I'll say, that happens when it's, I mean, it happens to me all the time. Like I'm always like, I'm eyeing my kids' meals.
Dude, I'm going to do that.
And I'm like, Luke, are you done? And I know that Amy wants her to take like 2 more bites, but I'm like, it's just going to sit there the whole time. But there's something about when you eat the rest of your kid's sandwich, it just tastes better for some reason.
Do you guys finish your wives' meals?
No, but I do her sentences a lot of times.
Oh, that's great.
Much to
I bet
her
she loves that.
chagrin,
Yeah. I finish.
Do you?
Yes, and she often is like, she's like, yeah, I saw you staring at my plate. She's like,
I'm up here.
Do you want
eyes up?
Yeah. And that's a really good. See, this is the kind of stuff this is the kind of intel you only get on Dadville.
Well,
that actually is really good advice. Like the keep an eye on how many of the meals you're finishing, because you can finish them and not even think about it. Like you're taking their plates to the sink,
and
but you're like, well, I'm not going to throw away half a sandwich.
The other thing, which is a little ways away because it's down the road a little bit. This when you get in like I would say 4 or 5 years and up. But then you get into the gauntlet that is their friends' birthday parties. And let me tell you the two food that they have almost exclusively at those birthday parties. Chick-fil-A.
Pizza.
And usually
and cake.
Right, that's right. So 3. Which are oddly enough my 3 food groups. But the
tacos,
pizza,
are there ever tacos there?
No. That's way too much maintenance.
Okay.
So the problem too is not just that it's pizza; it's almost always Jets pizza, which for me is like I have no power over. And so then a common occurrence in my life, and you'll feel when this kid gets to whatever age, is you just eaten lunch and you roll up and then you realize like, well, I didn't know they were gonna have food here, and then you're like, what's Jets? Chick-fil-A? Like, I'm just going to have – and I end up having a double lunch. And I was stuffed.
Yeah.
But it's there.
I know.
And so that's the other gauntlet you face, too, is like the kids' birthday parties. Because it's never – I mean, it's always convenient food, so it's never like good for you. It's always really good but not good for you. And then you got to do that dance of like it's one piece.
Right. And it's you're at a kid's birthday party, and maybe it's a kid where you just happen to know a lot of people. But a lot of times it's like, well, like – a couple people, and then there's some other.
To do.
Yeah, it's the social crutch thing.
Yeah.
You end up drinking more lemonade.
Yeah.
You end up eating more pizza or whatever.
Yeah.
God,
I've already
those calories.
I mean, Annie has upped her intake, being pregnant, and I'm I'm following suit. I am like sympathy eating, and I've been doing these 23 Places backyard shows.
Yeah,
23 Places is 20 years old this year. And so I'm doing 23 shows in people's backyards. And I was just in Chicago last weekend. And you better believe, like,
girl,
post-show.
Yes, you did.
I got a deep dish, like Lou Malnati's. I got, my own little private pizza.
Dancer.
A little private dancer. 2 nights in a row, 11 p.m.
Yeah, but you know what, though? Man. Let me tell you, both of y'all can do that. Y'all are 2 of my most metabolized friends.
See, but this is where I can't go into being a dad with this kind of.
That's true. That's going to bite you.
That's going to be. It's not going to end well. And I don't know. I just don't want to. There's so many things. Here's this like thing that I want to say.
Say it.
That, like, I think that I'm about to be so humbled by my friends, or just realizing how good my friends are at being dads, and how good they've done at life in the midst of being a dad. Because
let's end the pack. Can we just end it there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for coming on,
Done.
Matt. I feel like
thanks, dude.
That's all we need.
No.
Name names though. Is there anybody?
Yeah. Well, because here's the deal. This is the same before I got married. It's easy to be on the sidelines and make judgments about what you're seeing.
Yeah.
Right.
And not be in the game.
Uh-huh.
And I have a real, like, I'm already anticipating being a dad and being like, man, everybody's doing a great job. Like, everybody's, whether it's like, how do you stay so social as a, like, how do you do that?
Yeah.
Or just even like all of the things, you know?
Oh, John.
Oh, boy.
I see you sticking it under your shirt. Don't do that. I want to see it. Is that, it's one of those 40-ounce Trek tumblers.
Yeah, it is.
You've been raving about.
That's a slurping sound.
That's good.
I just picked it up from Simple Modern, Dave. That's why it looks amazing.
It does. Simple Modern. I feel like I've seen their products at Target, Walmart, and on Amazon, right?
Yeah. You have, Dave. But also, you can go to simplemodern.com/Dadville and order directly from Simple Modern. They are the perfect brand for everything you need for the summer.
This stuff looks great. Look, you can get back-to-back school stuff or back-to-school stuff. If you want to get back-to-back stuff, you just order 2. If you want to get back-to-school stuff, order stuff for school, John.
That's right.
Okay? They have backpacks, drinkware, lunch bags.
Oh, my goodness.
And they have Disney, Marvel.
No.
And dads are going, well, what about for me? Buckle up. NCAA and NFL.
Don't say NFL.
Yes.
No.
Yep.
And, Dave, maybe the best part is that they're giving 10% of their profits to organizations committed to causes like solving the water crisis, fighting human trafficking, or helping underprivileged communities.
Boom. Just love it. Just place an order. Mississippi State Bulldogs. Go Dogs. Collegiate. Let me see. This is Scout coffee mug. And reluctantly, and I felt a little forced into it, got an Ole Miss tumbler for Annie.
Man, that was hard for you.
Yeah, it's contentious.
Yeah. Did they have one for my Division III Anderson University Soaring Ravens?
Let me keep scrolling. I'm scrolling to the very end of the page, but I'm still scrolling.
Okay.
Yeah. No.
I'll email them.
But hey, they got your Colts. They got your Indianapolis Colts.
Blue Nation.
That's right there. Right there.
I do believe in the blue.
You do. And I do believe if you go to www.simplemodern.com/Dadville and by sharing your email, you'll get a unique discount code just for you or bundle and save for back to school. This should be your go-to brand for your family. Dadville is brought to you by BetterHelp. Give online therapy a try at betterhelp.com/Dadville and get on your way to being your best self.
Dave, sometimes the path of life can feel like a pretty rocky road.
And listen, a great ice cream, but not a fun path, okay?
Yeah.
Whether it's work, relationships, or anything else in life, therapy helps you stay connected to what you really want while you navigate life.
That's right, Dave. Therapy can help you move forward with confidence and excitement, and like anything, the more you practice it, the easier it gets.
Therapy is helpful for learning positive coping skills and how to set boundaries. It empowers you to be the best version of yourself.
If starting therapy has been on your mind, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule.
Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists anytime for no additional charge.
Let therapy be your map with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/Dadville today and get 10% off your first month.
That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/Dadville. The thing that I think is going to really help you, though, potentially is, being the age you are, you're going to skip a lot of things that are minefields with like, you're just wiser. One, you know yourself really well.
Yeah.
Annie knows herself really well.
Yep.
Y'all have had time together before the kid.
Yep.
So I think a lot of things that I think are some of the most specific struggle sets of being a dad have so much to do with the season of life you're in.
Yep.
And so there'll be ones particular yours.
Uh-huh.
But I think a lot of that stuff, in my opinion, comes with when you're younger. Because it's like, you guys have a rhythm super duper established.
Yep.
I mean, you had that before Annie. You got it with Annie.
Yep.
Which will make it harder. But I think one of the pros to that, like a silver lining of that, is it's there. It's like this is how our life looks.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
you're being introduced to it. It's not, you're not gonna get a new job in the middle of your 30s. You're not gonna move. There's just you have your friends extremely established.
Yep.
You've been in this town for a long time. It's just like there's a lot of things that I feel like you're not gonna have to deal with that do contribute to feeling like, what am I doing, or how come everybody else knows what they're doing?
Yep.
Because of just having lived more life, you're not coming in.
But don't you think it's interesting that you say that? And I don't disagree with what you're saying. As you're saying it, I'm like, yeah, that all makes sense. But my fear, I mean, fear is a strong word, but like I would think the fact that you do have that, you have your established rhythm of life. I mean, it's the same sort of concern that going into getting married that you probably had. It's like, well, I've had my life dialed in my adult life for 20 plus years.
Right.
Now let's see how this goes.
Totally.
You know?
I mean, and that's real. I think probably maybe some of the reason why I'm even like holding off on imagining being a dad is because I'm like, I am trying to hold on to being like to this stage of life as long as possible because part of it's like, and I think maybe because we knew that we had a shorter like on ramp with like we got married and then we're like, okay, a year in we need to start trying to have a kid. There was something about that shorter on ramp. I just started like being way more aware of like how special like these moments were for us, of like quiet mornings or like just the flexibility that we have to whether it's travel or, so like there's been this real kind of like, man, this is awesome, and a little bit of sadness knowing that like this is only going to last a little bit shorter for us than maybe some people had.
Yeah.
But so
somebody told me, I remember before, I think it was maybe when Amy and I were pregnant, one of her friends who had already had like 2 kids or whatever said, she was like, I can't even remember what life was like before she and her husband had their kids. And I remember feeling like, that's so sad. Like, I don't want to forget this time. And now that I'm, 10 and a half years in, it's not that I can't remember it, obviously, but it does feel like I can't even, it just feels like it's always been this way.
Yeah.
But I will say, and of course, like I said, Luca is 10 and a half now. So we're down the road a bit. But it does really, when you look back, there's such a short time of that, like, baby, the baby years, where, I mean, every season has its challenges, but Amy and I are back to like, we have our quiet mornings again.
Cool.
We have the things that, like, we can go on a walk around the neighborhood.
Yep.
Kind of a thing. So we're it doesn't last that long, and everybody's different, but that's the biggest thing is, as we're talking about what it's going to be like, it's like, you just have no idea who this person is.
Nope. That's one of my questions I had for y'all was, if you remembered life before kids and if there's anything that, you miss about that, like, AKA like, what should I be soaking up right now? Is there anything that you're like, man, this is a thing that you may not get again for a while, so like, soak that up?
I think the 2 things that come to the top of my mind are just one, just honestly, these are actually 2 things, but is sleep. I know that sounds ridiculous, but just like the ability to sleep when and where you want is one.
Yeah.
And I think, but sort of like tied to that is just still a sense of independence. Even in marriage, you really can just do whatever you want to do right now.
Yeah.
I mean, Annie's going to
totally
outside of something,
right,
some terrible decision, Annie's going to be like, great, do your thing. I think that I'll couple those. The other one is, and this is hard to explain, but
wait, sleep and independence.
Sleep and independence,
okay.
Yeah, just the ability, just absolute autonomy, even inside of a marriage.
Great.
The other thing I would say is, and you'll know this immediately when this baby is born, you will never again really be free of that connection.
Right.
There's no way to ever be outside of knowing that you have this human that is your child.
Yeah.
And that's hard to explain, but I think it's still understandable. But and I think that's really what I mean by independence is, even in marriage, you're not responsible for Annie.
No.
You want to care for her and love her and be her partner, but she takes.
Which for anyone who's confused right now, Matt's wife's name is
my
Annie,
wife is also
and so is Dave's.
Yes.
That would have been really fun up until now.
But you're also not responsible for Dave's wife.
Well, I say that for
Annie.
Annie.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All Annies.
Yeah. But I think it's there is a weight that comes with that of just kind of knowing like forever, for as long as I am alive, I will be someone's parent, right? And so I think that it's like there's a weight to that most of the time is really amazing, but does diminish autonomy. It diminishes sleep. It diminishes like just not really being able to just do what you want to do.
Yep.
That for these next few months you still can.
Yep.
And then it is gone forever.
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 What about you, John?
That was my number one. Immediately what came to my mind is when, like when you're in the thick of it and Amy and I need to get away. We can take the girls up to Indiana. We can go on a trip. We can go over to Montauk, and it's amazing. And you can get a nice hotel room, and you can book a nice dinner reservation.
Right.
Yada, yada, yada. It's great. And all the while, you just have that little weight. Even if everything is going great and they're with the grandparents, all is good. You're a little worried about them.
Yep.
You hope they're sleeping. You talk to them on the phone. You can tell Livy really misses Amy, and it's just weighs on you.
Yep.
That's the biggest thing. And like you said, Dave, I mean, it sounds so eternal because it is, but it's like it will never
go away.
Luca and Livy will always be my daughters, and I will always worry about them.
I think you said it well too there, John, like with Livy and Amy. It's like, and it's not just you, but I think if I can be so bold, it's especially with Annie.
Yeah.
It's like, there's never going to be a time where she's not at some point. You may, as a dad, I think you can kind of have little moments where you're like, I didn't think about that for a few minutes, hours, and I was doing something really. I just don't think moms can do that.
Yeah.
I think just the way they're made, it's like literally a part of their brain is now. That's like its job.
Like maybe they can't do it, and maybe I'll add on if they can't, it's justifiable. Like it's understandable if you can't.
And so I think too, because what I was thinking as you were saying is like it's so funny because you can literally be all these miles away having this wonderful time, and I can look at Annie and go, "What are you thinking about?" And she's like, I don't know, just making sure Xana's, so I think there's just always another person in your marriage, sort of.
And I don't think it ever goes away from talking to my parents and Amy's parents. It just never quite goes away.
Everything that I've ever heard is that like both parents love this child more than they love their spouse. Like it is like, what do you do about the I don't know, the attention, like the attention and the same. I don't know. I just know that that's gonna change. Like I am no longer gonna be receiving the same amount of attention and same with and I'm sure for Annie too, for me. But I guess I'm just thinking about it from I can anticipate maybe feeling a little jealous of man. Like, do you care about me as much as you care about the kids? Like, no, I don't.
Which that is definitely something I've heard. We went into having Luca. Thankfully, I knew a couple other friends of mine who felt that way.
Yeah.
And they just felt like they kind of lost their spouse for a while. Yeah. Especially in those early months,
And especially probably with the first.
Yeah.
Because I think second or third or whatever, there's a little more acclimatization. One, for you as the spouse, because you're like, oh, yeah, this is kind of the season.
This is how this goes.
Yeah.
But two, because there's, everybody's just a little more familiar with the process or whatever.
And I do think what helped in our situation, which I think will be the same with both of y'all's, I'm not gone from 7:30 in the morning till 6 p.m.
Right.
I feel like that schedule with a new baby is difficult because when you come home, there's so much there's such an intensity to that. It's such a tricky transition where like if she's home with the baby, she is just like, the last thing she wants is any kind of physical touch from you.
Right.
Or anyone. And then, but you're coming in and you've been gone and you want those couple hours to be magical. And like, it's just tricky. The fact that we didn't have to do that. And I got to be there step by step, just kind of like on the sidelines helping, I think helped me kind of avoid that landmine. But
How long before you guys went and did like a tour or something, like after you had a baby?
I don't actually remember that.
My first trip away was February 2013, and Luca was born December 9th, 2012. So
okay.
I had
a couple months.
Maybe 2.5 months.
I can imagine that being gone now is a very different thing than being gone before you had kids. And like, what to be honest with you, like on this side of it, I'm like, I mean, I'm not going to want to leave for a while. Like I'm actually like really pumped about just kind of like, let's just settle in for a few months, you know?
Yeah.
But I can imagine that like going on the road for a weekend and getting to like kind of just sleep and to just eat whatever and see something outside of the normal routine would be like kind of nice. Do you like, is that true, or is it like hard to be away, or is it some kind of like cocktail of both? And then also like just knowing that like, oh, when I leave, it's like leaving, it's putting extra weight on my wife, and so I kind of feel guilty about that.
Mm-hmm.
And there's like, I can't really just be gone and like enjoy this because that's kind of like not the best. You know what I mean? What can
Check-ins
you guys...
are obviously really funny because it's like, you know, you call him like, hey, it's like 10, you know, like, hey, like, how you doing? No, I've been up since 4:30 and she's been crying and you know, just got her down and the phone rang and it was you. So, how are you doing? You're like,
it's okay.
Okay, movie's about to start.
Yeah, sweetie, so sorry. I'm gonna go back to sleep now.
Hey Barnes, what are you doing?
I mean, it's I remember you and I laughing about this. It maybe Livy and around Sam's, you know, births, because I remember it being like, I remember you had taken a trip and you're like, dude, I've just slept so much, and I was like, isn't it wonderful? You know.
Well, right after Livy was born, I had a one-off show, and if I could go back, I would redo it because I'd like to have this money back. But I got a bus, and I did not need to get a bus.
Yeah.
But I got a bus because I was like, I need to sleep. I needed sleep so bad, and I got 2 nights in a row of amazing sleep, and it was great. It was worth it. But in the beginning, I did have a hard time. I felt guilty, and I kind of felt like I need to, in maybe like a subconscious way, I need to not enjoy this.
Yeah.
Because it's Amy's home, and it's hard, especially once we had 2.
Yeah.
Once we had 2. Yeah,
that was
that's
good.
right.
That was good.
That felt wrong
for
some reason. Once we had 2, it was exponentially harder on Amy when I would leave.
Yep.
And so I felt like I can't enjoy this. But at the same time, one of the things that Amy and I both are so grateful for is all those years that Amy went on the road with me.
Mm-hmm.
So there's really no, like, she knows what the road is like, the good and the bad. And so she knows, like, she's like, I know what coffee shop you're at in New York.
Yep.
And it's awesome.
Yep.
And she's like, the last thing I need is for you to come home tired. Like,
yeah, right.
Go have an amazing weekend.
Because I'm out of
recharge.
Here when you get home.
Yep.
Yeah, and the great thing is, when I get home, I want her to go. Like, I want her to do whatever she needs to do.
Right.
Like, I'm dying to see the kids, you know, which that reminds me of another thing that I feel like Amy would want me to stop and say to you.
Okay.
I was guilty of when I'm on the road is I would build up my homecoming so much.
Oh.
Like, both in the way of, like, I'm going to come home and babe, I got it from here. Like, you go do whatever you, but the girls are going to be amazing. Everything's going to be great. And it's never like that.
So you would build it up in your head.
I would build it up in my head. Like, the biggest two variables are named Luca and Livy. Like, they are going to be in great moods. They probably would have made me a card.
Happy that you're home.
They'll have their Sunday dresses on,
right?
And showered, and
right.
And it's like, I'll come home and one's in a bad mood. One doesn't want to talk to me. One's, didn't even know I was gone or whatever.
Yeah.
It just never is quite the homecoming that you think it's going to be.
Right.
Oh,
whoa.
Dave.
Yeah.
You got to help me.
Okay.
I am so sleepy right now. I can barely keep my eyes open.
Johnny, what's the matter? Why are you so tired? What's going on?
I like that voice. Mm-hmm. It's nice and soothing. It's not me. It's my kids.
Oh,
they
man.
cannot stay asleep. They're always coming in, waking me up. And when I say me, I really mean Amy. But I'm woken up too.
You're
and then
there.
She deals with it.
You're there.
Then it takes forever to get them back to sleep in their beds.
Listen.
Yeah.
Knock.
Who's there?
Hatch Rest. That's right.
Thank the Lord.
The Hatch Rest has been working beautifully for my kids for years and years. It's an innovative.
Why are you just now telling me?
Because it gives me power in our relationship, John. Okay, if I'm on it, you're not, and then I can manipulate
things.
That's fair.
Okay, I get that.
It's an innovative, all-in-one sleep device designed just for kids. It's both a sound machine and a nightlight that grows with your children.
The Hatch Rest, of course.
Yeah.
Now that I'm thinking about it, I do remember that during the newborn stage, Hatch helped make a soothing and comfortable sleep environment with continuous sounds like white noise.
Yep.
You love white noise.
I do.
Wind. You love wind. Rain. You're not so big on rain.
Yes.
And lullabies.
White Noise is actually the name of my metal band in high school. But, John, here's the thing. As your child grows, Hatch allows toddlers and big kids to build sleep independence with customized color and sound cues. The time for bed pairing alerts them that it's time to wind down for the night. And in the morning, their special time to rise signal helps to teach them when it's okay to get out of bed for the day instead of coming in at 4:30 a.m. and thinking, hey, Dad, it's time to watch Bluey. Keeping those early risers in bed longer. It really is amazing how the Hatch Rest helps my kids go to sleep.
And right now, Hatch is offering our listeners up to 15% off their first purchase of a Hatch Rest and free shipping at hatch.co/Dadville.
So, if you're ready for improved sleep, who isn't, John? Who is not ready for that?
I don't know anyone.
For
I
your
don't want to know.
Listen, but not just for you, John, but for your kids and yourself. Go to hatch.co/Dadville to get up to 15% off and free shipping.
That's hatch.co/Dadville.
And now napping on the go is simple with Hatch's new portable kids sound machine.
Love it.
Rest Go. Available in 5 dreamy colors with a battery that lasts all day. Check it out. John, I'm not going to lie. Have I lied to you before?
Let's just
actually
keep the
conversation
going.
Don't answer that. I do need a break, okay? I'm not going to lie to you. Let's get some coffee, John.
Did you just say coffee?
I did.
Dave? Well, today's episode and my morning cup of Joe is brought to you by, let's say it together.
Okay, here we go.
Actually, let's sing it together.
Oh, okay.
Methodical coffee.
I was going. I felt
we nailed that.
We did.
Well, I nailed it.
Methodical coffee as craft coffee and tea for people of all kinds. Roasted, blended, brewed, served, and perfected by verified coffee and tea nerds like my buddy Johnny.
That's exactly right, Dave. And Methodical isn't just the name of their business, it's their approach to, everything. Methodical's been roasting and hosting for over 8 years and offers a wide selection of coffees and teas that are complex yet easygoing, just like my friend Dave Barnes.
Can I tell you too? This is not. I'm going off script, John. Mm-hmm. I was just in Greenville, South Carolina.
Yes, you were.
And I was able to peruse the headquarters of Methodical, and let me tell you,
I cannot believe
I got it straight from the source, and it was. I wept. I didn't weep. Drink. It was hot. It looked like I was weeping. It was incredible. But listen, while I was there, do you know what I was reminded of, John?
What? Tell me.
The best of Methodical's coffees. And everybody there said it. When I walked in, they're like, oh my gosh, the best blend.
It's unanimous.
It's our signature Dadville blend.
Dadville blend.
Yep.
Dave, the Dadville blend is the fuel that gets me going every morning.
Yep.
Filled with hints of chocolate, graham, brown sugar.
And if you go to methodicalcoffee.com/Dadville, it takes you right to the Dadville signature blend. And don't forget, dadgummit, guys, don't forget to enter. I'm so sorry. I get passionate, John. Don't forget to enter our discount code, Dadville.
Visit methodicalcoffee.com for more information and use the discount code Dadville for 10% off your first order. That's methodicalcoffee.com and use the discount code Dadville.
Do you so okay, question for you. When you think of dad, like when you think of this next season, what is the thing you're the most excited about and what is the thing you're the most nervous about?
I'm the most excited about just like playing with my child, like evoking the imagination and creativity and sense of humor and pull and like in my child.
Okay.
And I probably feel more myself around kids. Like I feel more like I feel more free to be just like goofy, and I like talking to kids like they're adults, like they understand what I'm talking about. So
you have a good energy around kids.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I really I love kids, and so
and you've been the fun uncle for a long time now.
You've been a funkle for a while.
I've been funkling hard. Yeah. So the thing that I'm probably, so that is like, I'm like super pumped about, just like imagination, creativity, play, fun, all of that, like just having conversations, like being, I think the thing that I'm maybe have some nerves about is like when I've done that up thus far, it's like I can peace out after, like I can go dive into that for like an hour. Yeah. And then, I mean, literally like with my nephew, like I'll go play with him for like an hour and then I'm like, I go hide out in, my like a bedroom and lay down and take a nap because I'm like, I am spent,
All your energy is gone.
Yeah.
His has gone down like half a percentage
It's still
point.
there. Yeah. And he still wants to play. I've turned the thing on and I'm like, I'm out. And so I'm a little afraid, especially as a 40, Annie and I were doing the math yesterday. It's hilarious. So I'm taking my dad to play golf in a week. And like the senior rate starts at 58. And I was like, that's in 14 years. I was like, our child, babe, is going to be 14 and I'm going to be a senior citizen when our kid's 14. And
is that
really
true? When are you a senior citizen?
At this golf course, it's 58. So I don't know if that's like I feel like it's like 65 typically, but this golf course is saying they're going to give you a price break at 58.
Is it in a really dangerous part of America?
No, it's in Franklin. It's in Franklin, Tennessee.
They're like, listen, people here
you just might not live
they don't
too much
make
longer.
It.
The life expectancy. Yeah, it's like it is only 65.
But that's great though. You're going to save so much money.
You think, but so what I'm thinking is like I'm going to be older as my kids are young and have a lot of energy, and I'm like, can I sustain the energy that like no, I can't.
No,
I can't. But like. Also, what do you do when you run out? And I think there's a part of me that's like, man, I want our house to be fun and like have energy and like be lively and stuff. And I'm like, dude, I can just already see I'm going to be this like schizophrenic, like I'm going to be this bipolar, like he's really excited for a little bit. And then he's like, what happened to Dad? He's asleep. Yeah. And he's really excited again. And they're like, where'd he go? And like, there's like nowhere to go, like where do you go to recharge? Like you can't really, there's no time off. There's no like hiding out. And I understand man caves now. I understand this space. I'm like, I'd probably go back there and
well,
work really
what
hard
the
too.
encouragement is, and I think this is the grace of God, is your kid only knows you. Your kid doesn't have a bunch of dads.
That's true.
He's not coming home. She's not coming home going, my other dad plays with me for so long. And you're like, I'm sorry, I'm just one of your dads.
Yeah, but see,
this is one of maybe the most, like the highest area of shame for me as a dad. Is playing. I always feel like I don't. I've talked about it a ton on this podcast. I always feel like
what podcast
are
we talking about?
Oh, we're talking about Dadville.
Dadville. Like that one.
Thanks for giving us a chance to promote. Yeah, I always feel like I'm not playing with them enough.
I'm glad that you brought that up because Dave and I wanted
Can we say that?
Is this are we even recording right now?
This is
an intervention.
Yeah, we've been seeing. We've actually noticed that.
Luca emailed us and said, "My dad just doesn't."
Will you help?
Yeah.
Can you get me another dad who plays with me more?
We've noticed Mr. Dave is always playing with his kids.
Yeah.
No, that is a struggle of mine.
I do feel less shame about it lately. And I don't know why that is. I mean, I don't think I'm playing with them anymore. I mean, Amy is always very encouraging. She's like, you play with them all the time. You jump on that trampoline all the time with them, you know?
Dude, and as an adult, jumping on a trampoline is hard.
That's a workout.
Yeah.
Look at his abs.
I can't last but like 2 minutes on a trampoline. How long do you jump on a trampoline for?
Well, see, and this is one of the tricks for me is I'm like, just do it for 10 minutes.
Okay.
Like, because I sometimes feel like I'm going to get trapped playing. Like when they were younger, they want to play with the dolls or whatever. And I'm like, but we're going to be playing with the dolls for 3 hours. I don't know why. I always feel like, well, this is the rest of my day playing with dolls.
Totally.
That is, I mean, you've heard me say this. There is nothing that scares me more, and it's why I've not been the best dad playing with my kids, than being stuck. Like, there's nothing that scares me more in life.
Yeah.
And that's a little particular to my personality type, but I get terrified. Like, I get like a Wolverine in a corner. I'm like, gotta get out of here.
Yeah.
If you had told me earlier, I know this sounds simple, set a clock for 5 minutes and then just don't do it anymore. Or just tell them like, hey, we played.
Yeah. And be okay to say, hey, I'm done playing
better.
right now.
But my mindset going in is like, you should call you and tell your friends you love them. Like, you're never going to get out of this basement. Because I do think there's a little bit of kids where they're kind of like, if they know they got you, they got you. And so, you know, so there's a little wisdom in being like, hey, bud, I'd love to. Let's play for 5 minutes and let's see how keep playing.
But the other thing that I have to keep in mind is, like, I love my mom. She is the greatest. And I'm not saying she never played with me or whatever, but I don't have any memories of my mom and I, like, on the floor playing with, you know, like G.I. Joes or something like that.
Yeah.
You know? So I do feel like I wonder if our parents' generation maybe looks at us and is like, just calm it down a bit.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like you got to be super dad
all
the
time.
office,
man.
Oh, my gosh.
Dude, put a suit on and go to the office.
Jeez Louise, would you work some overtime?
Hey,
yeah, right?
Would you start shaming those kids a little more?
It is. I do think the messaging around, like, parenting, especially, well, just in general, is like, you know, like, parents play with your kids. That's what parents do. And some of that's true, right? But I'm the same. I mean, my parents, my mom I know played a lot. You know, my dad, I don't have these vivid memories of like us spending hours in the yard playing things. I mean, he threw the ball, wasn't play basketball, whatever. But you know, it wasn't like all of
side
Saturday.
Note, when it comes to that, my kids want to play soccer in the backyard. I'll play soccer all day long.
Yeah.
If it's a game we're playing or something like that, you know, like, I'm fine with that.
Just no dolls.
Xana looked at me in the eyes the other day. She got a new.
Wait, what'd you say? What'd you say?
I just run out of material.
You're like, look, I don't know the backstory on Heather. All we've gotten is she did Stanford Law School.
Kenny or not?
No, I mean, Xana, she doesn't do this, and this is probably because she learned young that I just wouldn't do it with her. But she looked at me square in the eye. She got a new Barbie house that she paid for the other day. And she was like, I want you to come upstairs and play the Barbie house. And you have never seen me more cornered and terrified than in that moment. I was like, what? She's like, I mean, like square, like stood in front of me, shoulder, like, I want you to come upstairs and play with me in my dollhouse. And I was like.
And she even said, Daddy, before I go to college.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. And I was like, now? Or like, what, when she's like now. And I was like. And then something.
Put the iCal away. I mean now.
She's like, why are you sweating so much? And why are you looking at me so angrily? I mean, that stuff, man, that is hard for me.
Let me ask your mom if it's okay.
Oh, my God. That is, I'm not going to lie, that is hard for me.
Hey, your mom said I can't play.
Yeah, sorry.
Your mom said
Hey, your mom said that I can't. She doesn't want me to.
She doesn't want me to do that.
So
It's tough. It's tough, but just 10 minutes.
So here's a good question relates to this. Have you found that there's a discrepancy between who you idealize, or that your idealized self as a father, and who you like the reality of who you are as a dad? Whether that's like what you thought you would be beforehand, like just gathering. Because I know, like, especially, you have a whole life until you have a child to like take in, gather information, and imagine like who you might be as a dad, or form this opinion of like, well, that's a great dad. And then it's like Warren Buffett has this quote about like when the tide goes out, you see who's still got their swim trunks on or something like that. Basically meaning like if people have like invested well or whatever. But I think it kind of relates to this too. It's like when the child comes and you are parenting, it's like whoever you are is how you're gonna parent. Yeah. There's no like, and I'm terrified of like coming to terms. And I felt this way. Felt like this way before I got married too. It's like my idealized like who I would be as a husband, and like what am I going to find out in reality? Like what's the reality going to be? And I'm thinking about that too as a like going into being a dad. And I'm wondering, like, did you guys have this like mark of like this is what it is, and like have you felt like you are hitting the mark? And when
do you want to start crying first?
I was going to say
is that part of like the coming to acceptance of like I don't know. Am I alone in that?
No. I mean, it makes me immediately think of Miles Adcox, and thank God Miles came on this podcast and talked about it's not about the rip, it's about the repair.
Oh yeah,
rupture and repair.
I have a lot of course correction on like discipline, and like coming in, I'm like, I'm not going to be the dad that raises his voice. I'm going to be the, like I just say whatever. I don't need to raise my voice. I'm going to be the calm, strong, quiet, whatever. That is out the window.
Quickly.
Yeah.
Whatever I'm going to be those in the first year or two are all dead. Like dead.
Yeah.
Because even when we were talking about play, there's like this idea of like, that there's some expectation of like attention and play with kids, or like how you're going to discipline or whatever. Like, and maybe that is just like the great reckoning of like an acceptance of like, this is just what it is.
All of it is just, it's the sanctification project. All of it. And I think like the best that I can be is when I am lucid enough to realize that God has very specifically made me Annie's husband and these 3 kids' dad. Like that moment of lucidity is so helpful, because that means a lot of things. It means like yesterday we went to eat at Martin's down the street, and we had our dog, and I just didn't want the dog to be there. I was already annoyed because I was like, I don't want to keep up with this dog, and I love her, but she's just annoying. Like when you're trying to sit and eat, and she's just, it drives me crazy.
Yeah.
So I'm already a little snippy about that. Annie goes into order. We can't take the dog, and she's like, why don't you take the kids and let them run around across the street? I didn't want to do that. I just wanted to sit down and not do anything.
Right.
And I'm just mad, and I'm walking across the street, and I'm ready to fight with anybody. One of the kids snips. I'm ready. Let's do it. Let's just yell at each other.
Yep.
And I was just thinking, like, I am at my worst right now.
Yeah.
And I knew it. I was like doing little body scans, and I was like, oh, this is all bad information here. Like none of this is good.
So many warning lights
like
going
Predator
off on the
is seeing me and just like, that guy's mad.
Yeah.
Like everything is lava red. It's just lava red. And I got to the playground, and I'm just watching them run around, and I'm just mad. I'm like, I don't want to be doing this. And they're like, Daddy, come push me. Like, you push yourself. You know,
I'll push you all right. We're on the ground.
You know what's pushing me is the man.
Yeah.
You know, life.
You got to push back.
And so Xana's like, and I was like, so I push her for a minute, and she's like, undo the thing. I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm like, I'll push her, and then she's like, okay, I think I'm good. Like, she can read the room.
Yeah.
Sam's like, Dad, watch me. And I'm like, okay. And I'm just like, what is wrong with you? I finally sat down, and I was just like, you have 3 healthy kids running around on this beautiful day. It was gorgeous.
So pretty.
You know?
Yeah.
And I thought, what is wrong with you?
Yeah.
Like,
what?
you don't want to, you don't. But it's in those moments, I'm like, you know, if I believe that God's will is what it is, this is like, I'm supposed to be their dad in this moment. Like, they see me being a twit, but it is who I am, and I got to work that out. And it's all for the good of me being a better version of myself, and them realizing, like, they have a very fallible father, a wildly sinful dad who still loves me. And so I think for me, it's like, those are the moments where I'm like, it's still all okay. Like, it can all be redeemed. That's a chance for them to see that, like, sweet Ben, I felt terrible. We're walking across the street, and he's like, he goes, I mean, so seriously. He goes, Dad, I'm so sorry you have to walk over here with us. And I was like, I have failed.
He knows. He's like, I know you don't want to be here.
He's like, you would rather be anywhere than with us right now. And it was true, and that's what the worst is. Yeah. And so I think in those moments, though, I have to go, you know, this is just part of the programming. I'm like, so sorry that this is it, but this is it. I mean, I really don't want to be here. There's no faking. And I think for me, you know, I've maybe talked about this before on here. I don't mean to repeat myself, but, you know, I remember I wrote with this girl not long ago, and it was such a refreshing day, and she's really young, and so it was fun just kind of hearing about her life. But she talked about her family, and I was so moved by it, 'cause she's like, you know, she said, my parents are really young, and so we have a really interesting relationship because it's much more sort of like candid than my other friends' relationships with their parents.
Right.
And she's like, I don't think that has to do with the age, but that just is. I think some of it contributes to our.
Yep.
But she's like, we're very out front with everything.
Yeah.
Like, if you're mad, you know you're mad. If you're, and it was, I mean, you know, I've been a dad for however long I have now, 11, 12 years. Hearing her say that was so refreshing, because she was like, I think it's the best thing as a kid, because I know my dad. I know all of his good. I know all of his bad. I know my mom. I know everybody good. And she's like, and I can see this was really profound to me. She's like, I can see in my friends' relationships with their parents who have more kind of buttoned up versions that they don't know them as well.
Right.
That they don't. And so your point is, even as you're saying that, because we all do that, like, I'm going to be the dad that's whatever, right? Mm-hmm. You know, those things get really tricky for me when I realize that's actually taking me away from my kids.
Yep.
Like, it's taking my authentic self away and replacing it with this idealized version who's not actually me.
Right.
And so they're getting some version, this iteration of this thing that's not really me.
Yep.
And that's not what God wants.
You ultimately want your kids, like, we focus so much on the time that we have with them, but they're going to live most of their life, you know, out of our house.
Yeah.
So we want to raise our girls to be able to deal with life, and them seeing me fail at stuff and then, like, apologize.
Yep.
And deal with something that obviously means something to me, means a lot to me. Seeing me feel bad and apologize to them and yada yada yada, like that's more, I think, constructive than and important than if I were to just, like, really nail it as the, like, all right, I haven't yelled. I'm 10 years in. I haven't yelled at him yet.
Oh,
you know?
Totally. Well, and or being, you know, being disturbed or, like, whatever it is, and pretending like it's like nothing's wrong.
Yeah.
And then tell him, I'm fine. It, like, creates this kind of crazy making kind of scenario where it's like, they're smart. Like, Ben knew that you didn't want to go across the street.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, you know, telling him otherwise is
and that makes him think like, I can't read people.
I can't read people, or why is my dad lying to me?
That's it.
Right.
Dad doesn't respect me or care for me enough to tell me the truth about what's happening because everybody else knows it.
You're easy to read, man.
Yeah. Well, and I think the other thing too, and I think this will really benefit you as a dad because you have done so much work and you know yourself so well. I think that's the other thing we hear a lot is like when you have Miles or Steven or, Chad Carger, Al, the counselors we've had on, Daystar, with Sissy and David, is they always say you can only take your kids as far as you've gone yourself with your work, And I think like that's where age really benefits you is you can really, where like for me, that took me a while as a dad to realize like, oh, I should probably just be myself. And that's not licensed to sin or ill. But it's
but it is licensed to chill.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And
those
are expensive, by the way.
Yeah.
Those licenses.
Yeah.
Can we start a snow cone stand?
License to chill.
Oh,
do you remember the license to chill card?
Already?
Pepsi? License to chill.
No.
In the 90s, there was a Pepsi license to chill card. I think you probably got it in like
so
a 12
does it mean that
pack.
everybody else that didn't have it
could not chill?
Oh,
not
man.
chill.
I did so much illegal chilling.
Well, you thought you were chilling.
I did.
You were not
I was
chilling.
illin'.
Guys, remember Clear Pepsi?
Oh, bro.
Crystal Pepsi.
Right now.
Oh, was that what it's called? Crystal
Pepsi.
Pepsi?
It's for tomorrow.
I remember Elton John did the commercial.
Did he really?
I thought it was called Clear Pepsi. I've been calling it the wrong
Crystal
name the whole
Pepsi,
time.
and they did the SNL did a spoof Crystal Gravy, and it was just the most nasty clear gravy
like thick
consistency. Yeah,
that's funny.
what were we talking about before?
But I think you having done work, you will be able to be with your kid in a way that's different than 10 years ago, 20 years ago, Matt Wertz would have done.
I'm actually like pretty excited about that. I mean, as soon as, I'm excited about that. It kind of feels like, I mean, it is, while it is terrifying to think like I am like programming a human, like there's a sense of like what we do is like being hardwired or at least like software. It's like software, and while that is like also scary, I'm also like, no, I think, granted, I have no idea again what's coming, but I have a certain amount of like confidence in my ability, my emotional intelligence, and my ability to like my empathy thing, and being able to imagine like I bet he might be feeling this way right now, or she. And I'm gonna ask him like, I'm gonna talk to him about that, and I'm excited about that stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's just like, again, no idea.
It's
what's coming.
It's the wide open. It's the great beyond.
And it's like it's this most important, like your top two relationship on this earth. Like this second one's coming. You don't know who they are. It's just it's such a crazy thing.
Did you guys find out the gender of your children before? You guys did both times.
Yep.
And you guys didn't, right? Yeah, we are waiting to find out. So,
well, I'm not going to let you guys make me feel bad.
It's probably the best thing that I ever did was waiting.
Yeah. It really. You did it as like a practice and surrender, right?
Yes,
it was like
as those who have reached a higher plane.
It's like, I'm gonna just
abstain.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a bumper sticker.
We're just thrilled that you came by Dadville. This has been something. I mean, we joke, but John and I have literally been like, dude, when can we get Matt on? And so when I think you had even said like, what if I came on to? I was like, done. That's it. That's the way in.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like we get you on.
I'm pumped to be here. Thank you guys for.
Yeah.
You're going to be an awesome dad.
The question is, thank you.
You really are.
I really.
You are. You will.
I really appreciate that. I'm actually starting to think that to believe you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm actually
starting to believe that that's true. The question is this cover going to be a picture of us just together? Because there's
that's true.
tons of
this
them.
will be tricky.
Or do we need to Photoshop something?
Oh,
because
no.
the oldest picture of the three of us together is probably like 21 years old.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got a lot of pictures of the three of us
That's
together.
freaking crazy.
I don't know.
We could pull that out. I mean,
I don't know.
hey.
I'm not scared.
Well,
although the Bee Gees would be nice.
That's true.
oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Three Stooges. Thank you guys.
This is great.
Dadville.